All right, so yes, if you like, you can begin seated, beginning upright. If you have any neck or shoulder or back pains, you can come and lay on your back and begin with the back supported. If you like traditionally begin in a child's pose, you're welcome to do that. Really, you can begin wherever you would like. And so, can everybody hear me okay at home? Awesome. All right, so beginning however is comfortable for you. And then just take a moment to maybe close your eyes and we begin to work our attention away from the external world and where we spend most of our time, and we begin to use our bodies as a place to focus. So we just feel into our bodies, maybe the palms of the hands or the soles of the feet. You might feel into your arms, your legs. Right? You might feel into your jaw and find some contraction there. So maybe you can kind of relax into the jaw or the neck or maybe the shoulders. Right? And we just begin to cultivate this mind-body connection when we begin to feel into our physical bodies. And then we begin to alter or change our breath a bit in a way that has a calming effect on our minds, our bodies, and our nervous system. So we breathe in through our nose and we breathe out through the nose. And we just find a rhythm first, right? Because a lot of the time we're not breathing, we're holding our breath, right? So just moving the breath with a rhythm is healthy. But then when we begin to slow the exhalation down, so the exhale is just a little bit slower than your inhale. This has a calming effect on, again, our nervous systems, right, which kind of tells the body to chill, to relax, to move out of the doing and the fight or flight mode we're often kind of stuck in and come back into this kind of rest and digest, repair mode where we kind of should be, right? So we have to use our breath to kind of pull ourselves into that state. So maybe another 2 breaths where you are. Your inhales are full and your exhales are just slightly longer than your inhales. Last breath where you are. And then we'll begin to bring in some movement. So we'll come onto our hands and knees. And we'll begin with some cat-cow breath. So we'll come onto our hands and knees, coming into table. You want to spread your fingers out, be nice and strong in your hands. Right? And as you inhale, we'll lower the belly, lift the head and tailbone up towards what we call the cow variation. And as you exhale, we'll tuck the chin, tuck the tailbone into what we call the cat variation. And we'll do this a few more times. Inhaling, we'll arch, open up through the front of the body. And then exhale, tuck the chin, tuck your tailbone, open up through the back, the neck, the shoulders. And a few more like this. And you might even close your eyes. And again, our practice is to move away from the external world and come into this internal space. Right? We can use our bodies as a place to focus, right? And we connect movement with breath, and this takes concentration. And through this practice, we're focusing our mind and our attention, right? Slowing the mind. So maybe one more round of breath with like this, and then we'll settle into a child's pose. Right? So we'll take the hips back towards the heels. Usually we'll take the knees a little wider, right? Big toes touch. You can take the knees a little wider or closer, whatever feels best for you, but try to relax your forehead maybe to the ground or to your arms. Right? Relax again into the neck, into the jaw, into the shoulders. Right? And then come back to moving the breath. Right? Breathing in through your nose nice and slowly. Breathing out through your nose more slowly. Right? Maybe another breath or 2 here. Good. And then with your next in-breath, we'll come up into our tables again. And then downward dog with your exhale. So we'll tuck the toes, lift the knees, and we'll just spend maybe 2 or 3 breaths in our downward dog. So you can pedal your feet out. If you want to bend one knee, press the opposite heel towards the mat. Likely you're kind of contracted in the neck and the shoulder, so our practice is to relax the neck, allow the head to drop a bit, allow the jaw to relax as well. Right, last breath here, and continuing to breathe. And then with your next inhale, we'll bring the knees down to the mat again. And find child's pose again as you exhale. So big toes usually touch, hips back towards the heels. We settle back into where we just were. And we just take a moment to feel, right, what's new here. Maybe some sensations in your hands or your wrists or your shoulders or your hips or your back or your legs or your toes. There's really nothing right or wrong to feel. It's just a matter of feeling and moving away from doing and the thinking and the planning, right? We just come into just being in our bodies. Right? So from here, we'll come up into table with an inhale. And then downward dog as you exhale. And we'll take just maybe a breath or so in this downward dog. Again, feel into your hands, relax your neck, right? Open up through the shoulders, open up through the legs. We'll take one more breath in, and then feet to the top of the mat as you exhale for a standing forward fold. And with your in-breath, we'll lift up halfway. So fingertips might slide up the legs a bit. And then as you exhale, we'll fold. And again, relax the neck and shoulders. Repeat that. Lift up halfway as you inhale. And then exhale as you fold. Again, relaxing neck and shoulders. One more time. Halfway up. Breathe in. We kind of lengthen, pull the shoulders away from the hips. And then exhale as you fold. And then this time, we'll stay here for maybe 2 or so breaths. So just allow the head to drop. We're lengthening through the hamstrings, but also through the back. Right? One more breath where you are. And then we'll slowly come up to stand. You might round. So like slowly tuck your chin, stretch up your back, all the way up into your shoulders and into your neck as you come up to stand. Good. And then we just pause at the top. Right? Maybe your eyes are closed. You just feel the energy within the body. So maybe tingling in the head, neck, shoulders, hands, legs. This is our mental practice of just coming back into body. Right? So from here we'll do what we call a half salutation. But be sure your feet are aligned well. So your feet are hip distance, toes forward, right? Strong through the core. And we kind of rotate the hands outward so that we open up through the chest and the heart space where we're often kind of rounded forward. Right? So with your in-breath, lift your arms overhead. And then forward fold as you exhale. We'll fold all the way down. And then lift up halfway as you inhale, lengthening the spine. And then exhale as you fold. This time come to stand as you inhale your arms all the way up. Hands to your heart as you exhale. We'll do that one more time. Breathe in, reach arms overhead. Forward fold as you exhale. Halfway lift as you inhale. Exhale as you fold. Come to stand, inhaling arms all the way up. Hands to your heart as you exhale. Good, and then pause here. Maybe close your eyes, but come into your body and just feel. Right? Feel your heartbeats, feel sensations right in your shoulders. Feel the soles of your feet, the palms of your hands. Good, and then relax your hands down and we'll turn sideways on the mat. We're going to do a couple of wide leg forward folds. So you can turn sideways on your mat and turn your toes to face the wide side of the mat. Feet step out wide, hands can come to your hips. And then we'll take a breath in, just kind of lift and lengthen up. And then fold forward as you exhale. So hinging from your hips. And then you can release your hands. You might bring them down to the ground or to your body or a block or a pillow if you want to grab a pillow at home, bringing your hands down to something. But once again, relax the neck and shoulder space. So we hold so much contraction there. Big part of our practice is just becoming aware of that and how much we're holding tension there throughout our day, which causes headaches and neck pains and shoulder pains and all kinds of pains in our bodies. Right? And then one more breath. It's another awareness, right? We don't realize how much we're not breathing throughout our day. Good, and then you can come up to stand when you're ready, nice and slowly. You might keep your chin tucked, but once you're at the top, again, pause. Right? Probably a lot of sensation, head, neck, shoulders, back, arms, legs. So just take a moment to just feel, to be here. Good, and then you can kind of heel-toe feet back together. We'll come back to stand at the top of the mat in our mountain pose. So there's just to open the hamstrings and back a bit. But come back into your mountain pose. Get aligned well in your feet. Right? Again, this kind of external rotation through the upper arms, opening up through the chest and heart space, shoulder space. And then as you inhale, reach arms overhead, maybe even a little back bend. Forward fold as you exhale. Halfway lift as you breathe in. Hands come to the mat this time as you exhale. We'll step back to plank with our in-breath and then lower all the way down to the mat as you exhale. We'll lift the head and shoulders up, either cobra or upward dog as you inhale, and then back to your downward dog as you exhale. Good, and we'll stay here, just one deep breath. And then with your inhale, reach your right foot up towards the sky. And we'll bring the knee to the top of the mat with the exhale for our half pigeon. So the knee comes by the right wrist, and then the foot works towards the left wrist. Your back knee will lower down, and then we'll sink the hips down. So this is our pigeon stretch. We should have a stretch through the right hip. And if we lift up, we'll get a big stretch into the front of the left hip, which we might need more of with more home time being seated. So opening up into the hip flexors. Right? And then From here, we can fold forward, and as we fold forward, bringing the elbows down to the ground, right, well, this will again move the stretch more into the right side of the body. Likely, again, you're contracted in your neck and your jaw, maybe your fists, and you're probably not breathing. So our practice is to relax the jaw, relax the neck, relax the hands. Maybe your toes are tense and they don't need to be. And then move your breath in that slow rhythm, right? Your inhales are full, bringing in oxygen and prana. And your exhales are slightly longer than your inhales. And this, again, taps into nervous system and kind of calms things down, tells the body to relax, to chill, right? To move out of that fight or flight mode. Right? So last breath where you are. And then you can come out of your pigeon, and we'll take a good 5 or so breaths between sides just to do whatever you want. And at first I know this is weird, like I don't know what to do, but you can just come into a child's pose and rest if you like. You can flow, you can come back to your downward dog. You can make up a stretch, just like some organic or somatic movement. Or you might just find stillness and just observe what happens in your body. And some neck stretches, all of it. So again, this is our time to just do what we need. Again, closing your eyes is really helpful, right? And just kind of feeling and noticing what you feel. Good, and then after another breath or so, we'll come back to our downward dogs, and then from there we'll switch sides. So first, be in your downward dog. Feel your hands, check in with your neck, your jaw, right? Shoulders. And we'll lift the left foot towards the sky with the inhale, and then bring the knee to the top of your mat as you exhale. So we want the knee towards the left side of the mat. Foot comes over towards the right side, back knee comes down. We sink the hips down. Right? And we might lift the heart up first so that we open up into the front of the right side of the body, right? So again, this is, we don't often open this way, so it might be uncomfortable. Again, try to breathe, right? Relax the jaw, right? And then when you're ready, you can fold forward, right? And you can bring the elbows down, right? This moves the stretch more into the left side, right? And you might even take a block or a pillow or something at home to relax your forehead on so that you can, again, relax the neck, relax the shoulders, the jaw, right? And then try to breathe. And you might make it a couple breaths, and then you'll find yourself holding the breath again. And it's amazing how often we're holding our breaths and not getting the oxygen that the body needs, so you're not breathing well. And so maybe another 2 or so breaths, and after that time, you're free to come out of this. And again, you might just keep your eyes closed, but you can counter stretch, you can find stillness, you can move, you can, if you haven't worked out this morning, you might do some extra chaturangas, or right. So again, this is time to kind of build in your personal practice into a group setting. And so maybe another breath or 2 at doing whatever you would like. And then after that, we meet in downward dog. And then we'll take a breath in your downward dogs. And then as you exhale, bring your feet to the top of the mat again, standing forward fold. Lift up halfway with your inhale. Exhale as you fold. Come to stand as you breathe in, reaching your arms all the way up. Hands to your heart as you exhale. Again, just one deep breath here. Good, and we'll work with a little bit of balance and begin to open up hips some more. So we'll begin with a stork pose. So you begin with your right foot grounded. Lift your arms and your left knee. So the right foot is grounded, left knee's lifted for stork. And especially if you're at home on carpet, this is really tricky. So be kind to yourself. But we'll take an inhale here, and as you exhale, we'll step back to a crescent. So toes step to the back of the mat. Awesome. From here, we'll take a breath in, and then bring your left hand down to the ground as you exhale, and reach the right hand up to the sky. So we're opening hips and adding a twist here. So think about sinking your left hip down and lifting your right shoulder up. Nice. Take one more breath in. And then as you exhale, we'll bring both hands down to the ground. We'll lower the back knee down so that we come into a lunge, right? And we can untuck the back toes. You might leave your hands down, or you may begin to lift your hands up. But as you lift your hands up, try not to lift your hips up, right? So this begins to begin more of a heart opener, a stretch into the front of the left hip as you lift your heart. Right? You can, yes, good, yes, you can lift your arms as well. That's another good option, right? So your choice, you can leave your hands grounded as well. So whichever lunge variation you like, right? Our intention here is to open up into the hips, especially the front of the left hip. Right? Try to breathe wherever you are. Try to release the contraction in the jaw and the shoulders. Right? Maybe one more breath in your lunge. And then hands will come down, and we'll shift backwards so that we now stretch into the hamstrings and the back. Right? So we want to maybe walk the hands back again. You can use pillows or something at home if the ground is too far away. But likely you're contracted and not breathing. So relax again into the neck, the jaw, maybe the shoulders can kind of round a bit. And then try to move your breath in and then out more slowly. Right, that's the trick, tapping into nervous system with the slower exhale. One more breath in here. Good, and then you can lift your heart up. We'll lunge forward again. And we'll come into a little bit deeper of a stretch with our pigeon stretch. So, I'm sorry, not pigeon, lizard stretch. So both hands will come into the big toe side of your foot, and then you can kind of scoot your foot over a bit. Again, we're sinking the hips down, so definitely getting into the hips, the front of the left hip. And then you may or may not want to lower your upper body down. Again, blocks or pillows are nice to bring the elbows to. Some of you may come all the way down, elbows to ground. That might be unhealthy for some of you. So, right, stay within your body and what's best and healthy for you. And then once you make your choice in where you want to be there, right? Check in with the jaw, the neck, the shoulders. Notice if you're holding your breath again, right? Try to slow the breath down. Breathe in through your nose. Breathe out more slowly through your nose. Okay, one more breath here in your lizard variation. And then after this, you can come out, and again, time to do whatever you would like. We'll take a good 5 or so breaths. You might counter stretch. You might come back to your flow. You might find stillness. You might be strengthening. And again, your practice, your body, right? Your mind, right? What do your heart? What do you need today? And we'll see maybe another breath or two. And then we'll meet back in a downward dog. And once you're in your downward dog, take a moment to be there, right? Feel into your hands, soles of the feet, neck, jaw, back, legs. And then from here, we'll breathe in. Bring your feet to the top of your mat as you exhale, standing forward fold. Lift up halfway as you breathe in. Exhale as you fold. Come to stand with your in-breath. Lift your arms all the way up. Hands to your heart as you exhale. Good. A nice deep breath here. Come into your body. Feel into the body. This is a mental practice of reining the mind back or the attention back. This time we'll ground into the left foot and then lift the arms in the right knee for our stork on this side. Right? So balance here. Again, know that if you're at home on carpet, it's extra challenging, so be kind to yourself. Good. Try to breathe. Notice if you're not breathing. Good. We'll take one more inhale and then step back to a crescent as you exhale. So the toes step to the back of the mat. Good. I lost my balance. But we can take an inhale in your crescent. And then your right hand will come down to the ground or a pillow or something as you exhale. Left hand reaches up to the sky. So sinking hips down, rotating the heart up. And breathing here. And one more breath in. And then as you exhale, we'll bring both hands down. And we'll come into just the regular lunge. So the back knee lowers down. You can untuck the toes. Again, we're sinking hips, opening into the front of the hip. You may leave your hands down. You might lift your hands up. You might lift your arms up. Again, all options. You choose what's best for you, but know that if you come into a point where you can't breathe, you may have gone too far. So maybe you should come back down, right? And then breathe maybe 2 more breaths. Yeah, relax the jaw, right? If you're tense and not breathing, that might be an unhealthy spot. Good. So then from here, we bring our hands down and then we'll shift backwards. So now we'll shift into stretching the left leg as well as into the back, right? So we want to stretch the leg out and then relax again the shoulders. Allow the back of the neck to relax. So sometimes when we think we're relaxed in the neck, we're really not. So sometimes it's like we have to consciously chuck the chin a bit to feel, oh, there's an extra level of relaxation there in the neck, right? And then breath, right? One more breath here. And then we'll lift the heart up. And then we'll lunge forward again. This time coming into a lizard variation. So we'll bring both hands to the big toe side of the foot, and you may kind of scoot the foot over to the side of the mat a bit. We want to sink the right hip down, so we're opening up into the front, and then you might just stay here, right? Some of you at home may bring your elbows down to, say, a block, right? You may come down to the ground, a pillow or the ground, right? Wherever you are, relax the neck, the jaw, the shoulders, and slowly, steadily move the breath, right? Inhaling through your nose fully. Exhaling through your nose more slowly, so slower than your inhale, right? And again, we have the intention of releasing contraction with each exhale. Okay, maybe another 2 or so breaths here. Nice, and then whenever you're ready, then you can slowly, mindfully, carefully come out and just take a few breaths to do whatever you would like. And again, sometimes closing your eyes helps. Right? You can just kind of make it up, or you can take movement, find stillness. But again, this moving into our bodies is really, really, really healthy for our minds and our bodies. Right? Once our minds kind of calm down, then the body can come back to balance as well. So maybe another breath or so, and we'll meet in a downward dog again when you're ready. And this is an excellent stretch. Often we're feeling it in our legs, but for our shoulders and our chest. So from your downward dog, bend your knees and kind of sink your heart back towards your legs so you get really open through chest and shoulders. Yeah. And then from here, we're going to come into a puppy pose. So we'll bring the knees down to the mat, and then we'll take the hands up away from the knees, so towards the top of the mat. And then we want to bring kind of like the cow tilt. We'll turn the tailbone up towards the sky as we bring the forehead down towards the ground. So really opening up through the upper torso, opening up through shoulder space, upper back space. And sometimes we call this bleeding heart because the front of the heart, the front of the body is melting down towards the ground. And then again, same practice. Try to breathe here. Right? Try to release any contraction that might be held in the jaw, or in the hands or the toes, or these places that don't need to be contracted. Okay, maybe one more breath here. And then we'll lift our heads back up. Walk the hands back under your shoulders. And again, a few breaths to just do whatever you would like. You might come back to cow breaths. You might rest in a child's pose. And just closing your eyes here is a nice practice. Again, movement or stillness, whatever you need. Good, so let's come into our downward dogs once again. And think about that puppy pose in your downward dog. So we're getting that openness, not quite as much, but again, sometimes we're so focused on our legs that we're moving towards a plank more with our shoulders. So we want to move away from plank, open up through the heart space, chest space. Good, and then let's move into plank. So inhale as you come forward, and then lower all the way down to the mat as you exhale. We'll do some shoulder stretches. So we'll lower all the way down to the mat. You'll take your right hand out to your right side at shoulder height, palm facing down. And then you'll press into your left hand to roll over to the right side. Right? And this stretches into the right shoulder, chest, heart space. You can adjust your left leg. So if you want to bend your knee, right? If you want to adjust your left arm, you can do whatever you like with your left arm. Right? But try to breathe here. Same practice. Yeah, opening up to the shoulders, hips as well. If you allow that left knee to kind of open away from you. Beware of moving children. I see you guys. Oh. Last breath there. And then you can come back to center. Right, and then just take a moment there in the center. You can do whatever feels good. You might, make a pillow with your hands, sometimes kind of rocking the feet side to side or shaking the hips side to side feels good. And then we'll switch sides. So you'll extend your left arm out, shoulder height, palm facing down, and you'll take your right hand under your right shoulder, press into your right hand to roll to the left side. Again, you can bend your right knee if you like to help stabilize the body. You can adjust your right arm if you like, but try to relax your neck, relax your jaw, right? And practice moving the breath in through your nose, nice and slowly, out through your nose even more slowly. Another breath or two. Good, last breath here. And then you can come out of this, and again, just a few moments for yourself. And you might find stillness here, you might take some counter movement here, but again, eyes closed maybe if you're comfortable, just being aware of what you feel in the body, knowing that this is really healthy for the brain. Good, so from here, we'll bring our hands back under our elbows, and as you inhale, we'll press up into a cobra or an upward dog, and then stay here as you exhale. So this is to open up into the front of the body. Cobra, you have your knees and your hips down, your elbows are bent. Upward dog, your arms are straight and your knees are off the mat. Take one more breath, opening up into the front of the body, and then lower the knees, child's pose, or if you like those cat-cow breaths, but something to counter in a forward fold kind of restorative variation. Right, but notice again how the body feels. Right? Notice where their heart might be beating faster after that bit of a heart opener. Right, the mind might have a story. Right? We just always come back to our breathing because so often we are not breathing. So it's always a practice that's available. Good. From here, we'll come back up into our tables, and we'll do a few thoracic spine. We'll do some twists and then some thread the needle. So you'll begin with your left hand grounded, and then you'll take your right fingertips behind the back of the head. And as you inhale, we'll reach the elbow up towards the sky. And it's hard, I know. And then exhale, you'll reach the elbow towards the opposite wrist. And then we'll repeat that. As you inhale, reach the elbow up towards the sky. And then exhale, elbow to opposite wrist. Do 2 more of these. I know they don't feel great. They're a little bit difficult, but this kind of working the cross laterally in the body is really good. It helps to work the fascia lines and different things, and really helps with mobility and flexibility. Good. With your next one, we'll inhale, reach the right elbow up towards the sky, and then reach the hand up to the sky as you exhale. Take a breath in here. Yep, and then we'll exhale and thread the arm down into thread the needle. So your right shoulder will come down to the ground, the right side of the head comes down to the ground. You can adjust your left arm if you would like. You can stretch it out or even take it around half bind, right? But breathe. Again, same practice. Breathe in, breathe out more slowly. Try to release some contraction, maybe in the jaw or wherever, toes maybe. Another round or so of breath. And then you can press back into your left hand and just come out. Again, a few moments for yourself. You might take a child's pose. You might come back to the cat-cow breaths, or again, just some organic movement, stillness. Good. And then when you're ready, we meet back in a table. So coming back onto hands and knees. And we'll ground into the right hand and take the left fingertips behind the back of the head. As you inhale, we reach the left elbow up towards the sky, and then elbow to opposite wrist as you exhale. Try 3 more, and you can go at your own pace. Your inhale, you open the elbow up. You twist as you exhale. 2 more times. You might even close your eyes. Right, staying within the body, feeling the sensations. Good. Last one like that with the movement. You'll inhale, open up. Exhale as you twist. And then this time, we'll reach the elbow up with the inhale, and then you'll reach the hand up with the exhale. Take 1 more breath in, and then as you breathe out, we can thread the arm down so that the shoulder comes down, side of the head comes down. Yeah, and then you can adjust. Your right hand might even kind of be in the way. You can shift it. You can stretch it up towards the top of the mat. You can take it around the lower back if you like. Right, but practice breathing in, breathing out more slowly. Okay, maybe another breath here. And then you can press back into your right hand. And you can come out of this, and again, just a few moments just to do whatever you would like. And some movement or stillness. Good. We'll be moving into a seated posture when you're ready to move on. So take your time, but we'll bring the feet out, or we'll do a seated forward fold, so legs extended out in front of you. And as you inhale, again, we want to try to lift up, so lengthen up through the spine. And then as you exhale, we'll fold forward. Again, we'll come to a point where we don't go any farther, but then maybe if you can relax the neck or relax the shoulders and just allow the head to drop or the shoulders to round forward. And you'll get a little bit more stretch in the back, which we're often kind of missing. And usually the problem with our hamstring tightness is often really our lower back tightness. So maybe one more breath in our forward fold. And then you can slowly lift your head back up with your inhale. And again, just pause at the top as you exhale. I think we're just going to go right to our backs. I have to remember this is only a 45-minute class, so let's come to our backs and we'll get in some more stretching and stuff, some twists and good stuff from our backs. So knees will come to your chest once you're on your back. And then hands to your kneecaps. And then just kind of make some circles with your knees, or maybe you rock side to side, but we want to feel into the lower back and around the hips and the sacrum and just kind of massage that area. You might work your knees independently of each other, circle one knee, the other knee. Yeah, but this is really, again, good for working the fascia that kind of gets built up here and causes lots of pains in our body. So just kind of massaging, self-massage here is really good. And then we'll come back to the center once we're finished. And we'll get into some twists. So knees will stay into your chest and we'll open the arms out to the side. We'll move back and forth with the breath just a couple times before we hold the twist. So breathe in here, and then take your knees to your left as you exhale, and then come back into center as you inhale. Take your knees to your right again as you exhale, nice and slowly. And then we repeat that. So your inhale brings you through center. You'll twist to the left as you exhale, super slow. And then we'll come back through center with the inhale, and then knees to the right with the exhale. So one more time on each side. Again, you might close your eyes. Sorry, continue on your own. Feel what happens in your body as you're moving. Right? This is key. Right? We focus our awareness into the body, and this is so healthy for our minds. Right? Which once our minds chill out, then our bodies can chill out. Right? So this practice of coming into body is how we chill the mind out. So when we're finished, we'll come back to center, and then we'll stretch the left leg out along the mat. And just rest your left heel out on the mat. Take your left hand to the outside of your right knee, so opposite hand to knee. And then you'll guide your knee over to your left, coming into a twist where we'll stay for a few breaths. Right, so same practice, likely you're not breathing again, likely you're contracted in the jaw, in the shoulders, and the hands. Right, so we come back, maybe close your eyes, relax the hands, the shoulders, the jaw, the face, maybe the toes. And then it's a really difficult practice to keep your breath moving, but breathe in a little fuller and deeper than what you might want to do. Again, keeping your exhales longer than your inhales is an energetic thing. It's a neurobiological thing. It changes the hormones and chemicals in our bodies. Right, so when you're ready, you can come back to center. And take a few moments to do whatever you like before we switch sides. So you might just take a moment in stillness. You might take a little bit of movement. Again, and just awareness within, noticing what you feel here is important. Good. And then we'll bring both knees into the chest again, just to kind of come back to symmetry. And then we'll extend the right leg out from here. So right leg rests out along the mat. You'll take your right hand to the left knee, so opposite hand to knee, and then your left arm comes out to your side, shoulder height. This helps to kind of stretch to that left side. Right, and we'll take the knee over to the right. And then, again, breathe in deep and slow and full. Breathe out slower. Try to relax again as you exhale. So just a few more rounds, and you might make it a breath or two, and then you'll find yourself in the head thinking, right? And then you'll find yourself not breathing again. So again, it's an endless practice. But the more we practice, the more we can stay in the practice, right? So one more breath where you are. And then we come back. Right? And then a few moments, again, for yourself. You can find movement, take stillness. But again, you might just keep your eyes closed. What do you feel here? Good. And then knees come into chest, hands to the kneecaps. This time, a little bit of apanasana. So one hand on each knee, fingertips face your toes. As you inhale, you'll take your knees away from you. So the arms straighten as you breathe in, As you breathe out, we'll bend the elbows and bring the knees into the chest. So really gentle movement. As you inhale, the knees move away from you. As you exhale, the knees come back in nice and slowly. And maybe 2 more of these. And again, you might close your eyes. Right? Relax your feet. Relax your face. Relax, the jaw, maybe the belly or the back. Feel it happens in your hips and your wrists, your ankles. Good. And then after your next exhale, you can just rest your hands and feet down to the ground. And take a moment there and feel the energy in the legs, the arms, the back, hands. Good. And we'll do another hip opener where we bring the soles of the feet together and open the knees out away from each other. So we call this Supta Baddha Konasana. Soles of the feet are together, knees open out away. Arms can go wherever feels best for you. Sometimes the body's nice or to the sides. If you want to open up chest and shoulders, you can take your arms overhead or out to the sides, or again, whatever feels best. And again, our practice is to relax and breathe. Right? It's so simple yet so challenging. Right? So inhale, feel what happens as you inhale. Exhale longer than your inhale, slower than your inhale, and see if there's some place you can relax as you breathe out. And 1 more breath here. And again, you can come out of this. Take a few moments for yourself, and you can find stillness or take movement, but notice how your hips feel, your toes, your hands. Good. And then knees come to chest, hands to your kneecaps. And then this time, we'll just inhale, take your feet to the sky, arms overhead so the backs of the hands touch the ground above you. And as you exhale, bend your knees, bring your hands back by your hips, down by the mat. And then repeat that. Again, inhale, the feet go to the sky, arms overhead. You can flex your feet so you kind of stretch the backs of the legs. And then exhale, relax your feet, knees come to chest, arms to the sides. Again, 1 more like that. Breathing in, you can stretch the backs of the legs as well as the back and the shoulders. And then exhale as you relax and just tuck back in. Good, and then rest your hands and feet down to the ground once again. And maybe your eyes are closed and just feel. What can you feel in your hands, your feet, your legs, your core, your arms? Good. And then from here, we'll do an inversion of your choice, which I'll give you a bunch of options. One is just a dead bug's pose, where you extend your arms and your feet towards the sky. This elevates the feet above the heart, and the hands, really good to kind of relax the legs as well. Another option is a happy baby pose. This opens hips more. You can take hands to the feet, open the knees out towards the armpits. If you have a block at home, you can ground the feet, take a block underneath your sacrum for a supported bridge pose. Lots of different options. So you choose, or a shoulder stand is another option, a headstand, or plow. Right? But we'll take maybe 3 or 4 breaths in a inversion of your choice. Yeah, and try to breathe again those slow, steady breaths in. Slow, steady breaths out. Slower breaths out. Right? Maybe another breath or 2. Good. And then after your next breath or so, our next pose together is our Shavasana, our final resting pose. So you can add in anything else that you might like before Shavasana or not. So you can head there when you're ready. I'll give you cues so you know where to go, but again, take your time. Right, Shavasana is to have the arms and legs extended out along the mat, a little wider than hip distance. And toes roll outwards, a little external rotation of the legs. Arms come to the sides, a little bit of space between the arms and the ribs. And then we close our eyes and we relax completely, which takes practice. So we first just feel into the body, right? Scan the body, see where there might be some contraction. Right? We check in, relax the jaw, relax the forehead, relax the temples, relax the throat, relax the neck, relax the shoulders, the back, the front, the arms, the legs, the feet, the toes. And we continue to relax our minds by bringing our attention back to our bodies, because the mind will keep working, but we can choose on where we place our attention, whether we focus on the mind or whether we focus on our body. Right? We feel our heartbeats, we feel the ground beneath us, we feel this tingling in our hands, or right, we feel the breath moving in and out. Right? We just keep coming back into just being. And again, as often as the attention wanders to the mind, just kindly but sternly draw it back into body, and just resting. And I'll guide us back when it's time. One more moment where you are. You can begin to deepen your breath and allow some movement to come back into your fingers and your toes. Stretch into your hands, your feet, your arms, your legs, and when you're ready, you can make your way to your side and then back to seated. See, some of you are seated already. At the end of our practice, take your time, but at the end of our practice, we bring our hands to our hearts and we acknowledge this light, this good that's in each of us, right? So it's in ourselves, but it's also in each other, and we just take a moment to acknowledge that at the end of our class. So I thank each of you so much for your practice. Namaste. Yay. Hi, thanks for joining. You guys are welcome to unmute yourself and say